to the Louie Bellina Show Wednesday. And that just happened. The Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. This, man, it is an action-packed, epic, awesome Wednesday here on the Louie Bellina Show. This is how we're going to do. 11:20, Chip Howard Sports Talk. It's our weekly catch-up. We talk everything, to be fair. 11:35, a listening to a fired up, spitting nails Bucky McMillan, A&M basketball head coach, after the W over Kentucky last night. He was fired up, as you'd imagine he was feeling it. At 11:50, we're going to check in with Grocholski Sausage Company. I'm going to let them tell you about since 1952. I'm going to let them tell you about traditions, homemade. I'm going to let them share with you. You know, I've been registering people for 2, and this is week 3. Each day, another person. They get their name on the list to win a pair of tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. And Grocholski Sausage Company, they've partnered with the Louie Bellina Show a couple of 2-3 years now, right? Pretty epic, pretty awesome stuff. Just saying, it's absolutely amazing. And I like to check in with him and their tale. I love, I'm local, right? And they are that definition of family, generations, traditions. Love Grocholski Sausage Company. At 12 o'clock straight up, joining me inside the Charles Schwab studio, Tony Catalina of the Austin American-Statesman. Tony lived one of those dream maroon and white days. At 4 o'clock, he was over at Bluebell Olson watching Aggie baseball run rule the word, the incarnate word. Game over, he walks across the street into Reed Arena right about halftime, if I'm not mistaken, to catch A&M Kentucky. And he watched Aggie basketball, Bucky ball with the game of the year. It was the win of the year in defeating the Wildcats. He had an Aggie day, did Tony Catalina. Going to catch up with him 12 to 12:30 inside the Charles Schwab studio. And then we will wrap things up with one of my favorite things. One of the signs that God loves us, beer. 12:35, we'll head out on the D4 Land Services hotline, and we will hang out with Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery. About twice a month, we talk beer, craft beer to be exact, the making, the tasting, the brewing, the latest trends, the business of. You're wondering what I mean by signs God loves us. I've always said in my dude world, there's like 3 signs that God loves us: bacon, beer, cheese, and women. That's how you know God loves us. So Alan Ward of Brigadoon Brewery on the D4 Land Services hotline. That's 12:35. That's a lot of Louie Bellina Show on a Wednesday. At any time, you can text questions, comments, opinions. You just want to scream and shout, celebrate. You haven't slept since A&M beat Kentucky last night. Whatever. You can text me at 979-693-1150. 979-693-1150. You can light up the Texas Mobile One Lube Express inbox. Texas Mobile One Lube Express, owned by Gabriel Garcia. We begin our day. I don't know where else we would begin it. 96-85. 96-85. Aggies don't just beat Kentucky. They double-digit beat Kentucky. Aggies, I kind of want to say floating in the water. Lost 6 of their last 8. Just lost to Texas. Lost to your rival. Nothing. For 2 months now. Nothing's been coming together. The Bucky ball run. And I've been stating that. That's what's been missing. They haven't been able to do the Bucky ball runs. They haven't had the legs. They haven't had the shooting touch. It just hasn't been happening. Needing 2 wins, according to Lenardi, to make the tournament. I'm going to be honest. I gave them between 1 and less than 1% chance to beat Kentucky. I know the line wasn't that big. And, before this final 4-game stretch, A&M was a 2-point favorite, to be fair. But if you watch the games, I just felt it was very hard to see. Bucky did something that I've been asking for, to be fair, about a month. Shuffle the lines. I'm a hockey guy, right? When hockey teams are struggling, you shuffle the lines. You move maybe a center from the third line to the second line or defense, but you shuffle the lines. You do it just to try and mix up the mojo and the chemistry. Or sometimes there's actually reasons, but you shuffle the lines. Last night, Bucky rolled out a new starting 5. And in the end, it's not like the starting 5 went off for 20 each. It's not like the starting 5 where all the leaders in minutes played. And it's not like before the starting 5 led in the minutes, or the new starting 5 led in minutes, but it shuffled. It didn't shuffle the energy, shuffle the chemistry. It motivated the former starting 5, inspired the new starting 5. It shuffled the chemistry, the energy, and the mojo, as opposed to just trotting out the same people with the same. It broke up the sameness of the 2-month death march, didn't it? So he did something, and it worked. In the end, it obviously worked. If I'd have known he was going to shuffle the starting lineup, I'd have went to Vegas and put money on the Aggies. The Aggie Bucky Ball recipe formula for success is kind of straightforward. Those 4, okay, they had 5 last night. 4 guys hit double digits, spread around. They had 5 last night. Rylan Griffin went off for 21. There was a Ruben Dominguez, not just siding, played 21 minutes, 17 points, goes 6 of 11, 5 of 8 from 3-point land. Signature of Bucky Ball, 3-pointers, and they made 13 of them. They made 5 the other night, 13 of them. And it wasn't volume shooting. They shot 46%. Everything they're supposed to be, everything they have to do, every box and column, check, check, check. Pop Isaacs has been fascinating. He is as talented as any player, but he is some nights and he isn't others. I think within 30 to 60 seconds, you know what kind of night Pop's going to have. The way Bucky's used him has been fascinating because Pop's had the hot hand and Bucky pulls him. Because Bucky's been stuck in his rotations that he's used for 3 months. All of SEC play. And it almost feels like it's a hard rotation. Even to the extent of ignoring what's happening in the game at times. Last night he started Pop because he was mixing it up, right? And when it was obvious this was good Pop night, he let him go. Rylan Griffin, hot hand, he let him go. Absolutely. So I'm just telling you right now, I think Bucky McMillan himself was maybe, because people are going to say, oh, well, Ruben found his stroke and the players did. I think Bucky himself was the biggest difference. He shook up the starting lineup. He shook up the lines, and he let the hot hands stay hot, as opposed to whatever system him and his staff use for minute controls or these units must play together that they've done all year. I think Bucky himself, if I'm listening why they won, is number one. Because Pop was hot, he let him go. There's times you got to pull Pop and not put him back in. And whatever regimented things they've done, they stopped. And they let the hot hands go. And it was brilliant. The start of the game, the new starting, it was a bust. I mean, they got down 30-18, and it looked like this thing was fading to Bolivia. But they went on a run, because Bucky ball's about runs. When they catch fire and it clicks, and we've all seen when they started 7-1, we all remember when we were pounding, well, for me, pounding on my microphone, for you, pounding on a beer, pounding, on a keyboard, when we were all pounding on whatever we pound on when we're getting pissed about why were they not ranked? Because it was a legit argument at the time. Okay? I think it was a fair argument at the time because that was the data we had. Buckyball runs, and they're fun. Like when they scored 13 points in like 40 seconds, things like that. And the Buckyball run, 27-3, and it was, under 8-minute run. It was 44-11 overall at one point, but that 27-3 run, was that the greatest run of the year? In the best win of the year. This was the best win of the year. This was their greatest win. You got to tie the situation into the moment. When they needed it. Maybe the entire postseason at stake. When they were down the hardest. This was the greatest win of the year. I'm going to throw in Kentucky's brand name as a factor too. This was the win of the year. Rising up from the ashes, or am I going one step too far with that? Just a little too excited. I need to calm down, maybe. Great win. Absolutely phenomenal. The win of the year. I've heard arguments, like Olin said yesterday, if they beat Kentucky, they don't have to beat LSU. I was listening to Texags Live while I was driving in this morning. Tom Schubert, who's awesome. Fantastic. Love listening to him. He believes they're done, this win, Kentucky. I still think it's one more. Can't guarantee, don't know. I hate committees. Joe Lunardi Bracketology updated after the action yesterday across the country. A&M still on last four in. They were on the 4 spot. They moved up 2 spots. So they're the second team on last 4 buys. I'm thinking to myself, which is painful. I hate thinking to myself. I'd rather have others think for me, which you should know is not even close to true. But A&M is now the second team on the last 4 buys. In order, as of right now, this moment, we're hanging out on Wednesday. What month is it? Hey, Jeanette, what month is it?
Still March.
Okay, so as of today, Wednesday, March 4th, A&M with 1 set of regular season games left and tournament week would have to get passed by 7 other teams with that kind of action. And tournament only counts so much. And a set of regular season. And it's very hard to move. The impact of a game is only so much. But one night they moved 2. If they were to lose to LSU and other things, they move 2 more slots. The worst case would be the last team on last 4 buys. Could they slip 5 spots in out with tournament action? I mean, that's how my mind's trying to work through this. So did this, I think it's one more and we have no questions, no arguments, no worries, no debates. Don't need to have a beer open and ready on Selection Sunday standing next to you. I think we're good. One more is without a doubt. I think right now there's doubt without the one more win. They could be in. I see it, but one more and we could chill. The win against Kentucky, I have a text message that says, it's from Jim. Huge win, great run. Destroying Georgia at their place was a close second. I'm good with that. Yeah, I mean, I think Kentucky's the signature win. It was the greatest win. And I'm putting the conditionals on it. They were down bad. They were floating in the water. There was no spark, no momentum. And you give me 27-3? Yeah, I know the Georgia had the, 22-2 run. 44-11 was the run overall in the end on Kentucky. But also at Georgia, they had Mo. You know, they're playing great at that time of the year. What a win. Man, Bucky Balls, just give me that ride, would you? So in the end, a must-win was a win, was the best win of the year. Again, you need 4+ players with double digits in Bucky Ball. They had 5. They forced 13 turnovers, so they got back to the double-digit turnover thing. They made 13 threes. They only had 5 on. It was check, 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 check. Not only did you get the signature win of the year, the biggest win, I think you got maybe the quote. Bucky's had a lot of great quotes. And maybe tomorrow we could take an hour and I'll just say what's your favorite Bucky quote, but this has to be the Bucky quote of the year. We're going to do a listen in 11:35-ish, his post. It's awesome. He's fired up, but this has to be the Bucky quote of the year. I'm not coaching basketball afraid of my own shadow. Basketball is a war. We pick people up 94 feet. There is a reason it's 94 feet. We play to live. We don't play not to die. I saw that. I said some things that you can't say on the radio because we play to live. We don't play not to die. I have spent years, decades, on a microphone with my friends at the bar. I hate coaches that coach scared. I hate coaches that coach scared. I would argue the difference between the good, great, and elite is always how far are you willing to go to win. 90% of coaches coach not to lose. 90% of coaches coach not to lose. They're doing that I want to win by one play thing you hear all the time. Those are coaches that lose. Because if you're leaving yourself susceptible to one play, and you have nothing but 18 to 22-year-olds, and I'm going to say generally 18 to 22-year-old mercenaries. Oh, and you've got SEC officials. Oh, and you have weather conditions. And you think one play is going to work? I don't want coaches that want to be one play better. Every time I hear that, I want to punch myself in the hand with a hammer. I never want a coach that's playing not to lose, and that is the norm. So I see Bucky, we play to live, we don't play not to die. Bucky, I will ride, I will ride and die with you, brother. That right there, that's my coach. That is my coach. So you get the win of the year with the quote of the year. I'm not coaching basketball afraid of my shadow. Basketball's a war. We play to live. We don't play not to die. Where do we get the poster? I want to put it up in the Zone studio. When we come back, Chip Howard Sports Talk joins me inside the Charles Schwab studio. I need to take that and turn that into the Zone thing. You're listening to the Zone, where we play to live. We don't play not to die. It's the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric. Wednesday on the Zone.
Home, on the road, or Omaha. You can hear Aggie baseball on the Zone.
The Louie Bellina Show. We're sticking with Wednesday, presented by CC Electric, built on faith, family, and community. Wednesdays, I get to check in with Chip Howard of Chip Howard Sports Talk. Chip, top story. Dallas Stars have won 10 straight.
Yes, they have.
Bucky Ball beats Kentucky.
Oh, you got to go local. That was a it was a big win. I think it put them in the tournament, and big win. The only thing, and I was watching all this stuff last night, and they were talking about one of the other teams, and I'm not sure which one, but Joe Lunardi was on. He made a point. It's like with teams that are kind of on the bubble, right? And then they win this game, and you're going, okay, good. But what you don't want to do is follow that up with a loss to LSU and a loss in game one of the tournament and give them any leeway, right? Because we've seen what happens in the past.
Committees hate A&M.
Yeah, with A&M basketball. So you don't want to give them that out. That's the best way to put it. But they did what they had to do last night. It was a snapshot of the whole season. That one game's a snapshot of the entire season, right? You're thinking they're getting blown out. They were terrible. They started terrible, couldn't hit. And then Dominguez hits the mid-range jumper, which he never takes, right? He doesn't drive. If he does drive, he's dishing off. He hit that little 12 to 14 foot mid-range jumper, and man, you saw how much he's been missed, right? Him and Ryland hadn't been doing anything either. And those two guys, I mean, you had to have it. You had to have
38 points combined, and it was not volume shooting.
No.
They were clean.
Yeah, you had to do it. But, man, they can't stand that prosperity. That was just, it's like, you're cruising along, and then it's 16, and then it's 14, and then it's 13, and everybody's restless.
13, though, to be fair.
Well, they were up 21, I think, and then it got down to 7. Right, it got down to 7.
Did they?
And oh yeah, and it's
I was
like,
too busy almost passing out.
No. It was down to 7. It's like, oh man, you got to be kidding me. But it doesn't matter. They got the dub, and hopefully they can go into Baton Rouge and get that one more, and just everything else is gravy. Now the way they play, they're going to play. They're going to play hard during the tournament, but. We'll see.
Here's my dream. You beat LSU. Don't even get on the plane for the SEC tournament.
Yeah.
Stay home and
it's
rest
like,
for a
It's
week.
like the baseball postseason. It's like rest your arms, rest your legs. If you beat LSU, you go in. You play like everybody about 12
tournament.
About 12 minutes.
I'm not going, Chip.
And go from there.
I'm not going.
It's not like they're going from a 10 seed to a 7th seed, right, or a 6th seed. It's just not going to happen. And so, yeah, I'm with
Chip,
you.
if I stay in the 10, I get a 2 in the second round. If I move up, I get a 1.
Yeah.
Hold on.
You know what?
Don't go to the SEC tournament.
You don't want the 8-9 seed for sure.
So,
and I don't think they're going to get that, but good win. Really good win.
Best win of the year?
Ooh, I don't know about that.
Well, what's the other competition?
I don't know.
Someone said that. Well, no, they said Georgia was a great win. I agree, but this win, you consider the circumstance.
I would argue that at the time, at Auburn was a good win. Really hard place to play, right?
And they were floating in the water in that game too.
Yeah. So anyway, they've had a couple of really nice wins. This one may be the top or near, because Kentucky they've got players, right? You just don't know which team's showing up from game to game. They're so inconsistent. But if you look last night in college basketball, Lou, it's kind of that time of year, right? Arizona State takes down Kansas. Texas Tech loses at home to TCU. I mean, that's just what happened.
Well, that was part of the bubble, because when you look at the last 4 buys, what happened, right? TCU left the bubble.
Yeah.
Missouri
big win.
Fell back to the bubble.
Missouri, man.
And SMU worked down the bubble. UCLA worked down the bubble.
They can't stand prosperity.
So the only team that moved up the bubble, well, TCU and A&M were the only two that worked up the bubble, because TCU worked off and A&M moved up 2 spots.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It's fun. Come on.
Oh, it's that time of year, and it's I'm telling you, even in December, right? You're going. They're not going to the tournament. They're fun to watch, but they're not going to go to the tournament. And back in April, May, June, July, you're going, man, I hope this team wins 6 games, 8 games this season. Not the conference. I mean, total. Right?
Well, you say total. Yeah. I was like 10.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. And I got them like 6-12 in the conference or whatever. But man, you got to give it to Bucky, and you got to give it to the guys who have continued to play hard. And it's been fun. I'm not sure it's over. I don't think people want to see them in the tournament. It takes something to prepare for that style and get ready for it. Now, most of the people in the tournament, the reason they got there is they've got good guard play. If you got good guard play, you're going to be in decent shape, right, in the tournament. But you don't want to look at A&M in the tournament. You really don't.
I almost want to agree with you, because you wouldn't mind playing this A&M team for the past 2 months.
Yeah, well,
They're slow. They can't hit a shot.
In February, when they were 2-6, they're like I said, when Dominguez quit shooting, it really hurts things because it's predicated on making 3-point shots, and that hurt things. And then about 5 games in February, Rylan Griffin wasn't very good, and that hurts them. I mean, he should be their best player, right? And when your best player is scoring 5 points a game, that's a recipe for disaster. And that's what we saw. Now, if he puts that game on the court with consistency, they're really good, and I like them because you know what you're getting from most of the guys. But if Dominguez can hit 3 threes a game, right? He doesn't have to go 5 for 8 or whatever. Just give me 3. Give me 3 good shots because then they have to worry about him, right?
I would say another element to this is they had a point guard again because of Pop Isaacs. Because
Pop can play the point.
Is missing in action.
Yeah, he is.
His height has been such a disadvantage in the SEC.
And as hard as Marcus Hill has played, Lou, and gone to the rack and all of that, he can hurt them sometime because he's not an assist guy. He's a take the ball to the hoop kind of guy, right?
That's fine. And so he's not supposed to be the point. If you finish, that's fine, right?
He's
suffered that's the by other trying thing to do too much, correct, as others have done less.
Correct.
If he can go back to doing what he does best,
yeah, no doubt. I agree with that. And they have to, Lou, I don't know how many years we've talked about Aggie basketball not finishing at the rim.
Yes. Doesn't matter the coach, doesn't matter the players.
How many layups, how many dunks, how many cannot finish at the rim, and you've got to finish at the rim, man.
Aren't layups supposed to be easy? Because if you're an Aggie basketball fan, you don't believe that.
Apparently not.
Why?
But I watch a lot of basketball, and I don't think they are easy because everybody's got big guys. That's why. Even when you're at the rim, and Federico I was jumping out of the chair last night. You got to get him out. He finally did. He had 3 plays in a row, right? He had one where he gave up a 3-point play, which he shouldn't have, and then he had 2. He's at the rim for the defensive rebound, and they get the offensive rebound with either a putback or a foul. And I'm going, oh, you have got to, and I still don't know what's happened to him, Luke, because I watched him in Lubbock. I watched him last year. He was a nice not a great player, but he was a nice player, and they were a really good team. And I don't know what's happened.
I will stick with what I've said all year. This is way too fast for him.
Probably so.
Mentally, he cannot connect it
physically.
He
never adjusted.
Mentally, he can't connect it physically. If he was in the right system, he could be all whatever conference
Well, he was good
in.
last year. I'm just telling you.
In his right system,
right,
he could be all whatever conference. This system. Yeah. I'm not even talking about the physical tools.
No, I
get it. This system doesn't fit.
Yeah, probably not.
That's it.
Yeah.
I will say this. Year 1 Bucky ball is about as exciting as Aggie basketball has been in my
great.
Aggie basketball life.
It's been
I look
great.
at the different coaches, different systems, and for the most part, 2/3 of my Aggie basketball life, Aggie basketball was awful. They were 0-16 for a year, okay? Since then, if you look at the past 10 to 15 years, Aggie basketball is a good program. They're 20 plus. They go to the NCAA tournament. Not a lot of it's necessarily been the most exciting version of basketball, but I take wins. I'm a fan of wins.
But there was nothing exciting about how Billy Gillespie played.
44-40.
It was hand-to-hand combat, right?
44-40.
Right.
You respected the grind.
No, it's fun to watch. It is. It's fun to watch.
This is, it's just
great
a good
style.
Party.
Yeah.
Before I let you go,
wish there were more people there last night. Because I was watching Georgia and Alabama. Okay, and man, they are it's packed. Right, it's sold out. They are rocking, and then I go to read, and the whole upper deck is pretty much empty, and I'm going, it's Kentucky, and
the announced was like 88, which means the actual is probably closer to 28.
It's probably about 7 to 75, maybe.
So for Kentucky,
I know, I know, I don't get it either, but
there's a baseball game.
Well, I do know this. I've already seen this. It was parking issues again because they can't seem to figure that out.
They
closed the main parking lot apparently with several hundred spots still available. So
why?
I don't know, Lou. I don't know.
Was it reserved for what?
Why did they do anything?
Don't lead me. Don't do that. No, I don't want to. I'm on a happy Wednesday. I don't want to get in trouble Wednesday.
Yeah, that's fine.
Why do they do a giveaway where they give it to the first 150 people when they're expecting 7,000? That's a promotion to you? I don't want it. Don't get me going.
No, I'm not.
Don't make it bad guy
Not
Lou
say
Wednesday.
anything. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. Before I let you go,
Yeah.
Dallas Stars have won 10 straight.
10 straight.
They're a perfect
Franchise record, I believe.
They're perfect 4-0 since the Olympic hockey break. Is this real?
2 games on the road.
Is this real?
Right?
Well, they just went to Canada and killed 2 Canucks. They're good.
They did. Yeah, they're playing really well right now. I mean, they're on a little roll. I wish this were
6-1, 6-1 the last 2 games.
Yeah, I know.
They're feeling good.
They are.
KC DeSmith last night. Bad man.
Well, it's look, we know they can score, Lou. It's all about the defense. It's all about the defense. So we'll see. It's that time of year where
Are they going to win the Stanley Cup, Chip? Just say it.
No.
Go. What do you have today?
Scott Clendenin is in with me. I'm sure we'll talk a little Aggie baseball as well.
I'm sure.
And then Mallory is here. We've got some entertainment news. We'll have some post-game react from last night's ball game as well.
Oh, yeah, Michael Early.
And some Michael Early.
Oh, you said ball game.
Well, basketball and I do have some baseball.
Game last night.
No, I know.
I
didn't have a show because of it. It wasn't last night. It was yesterday afternoon.
So that gave you a chance.
But I got a show today. So
you went to the baseball game? You went
no,
to
I
the
did not.
basketball game?
No.
What?
No, I did not.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, the basketball game, I can't even see the court anymore where they've moved me, Lou. It's so far away, I don't even know they're playing basketball. So
Chip, be awesome, brother.
Okay, thank you,
hey,
Lou.
next week we talk. Madness.
Oh, I know.
Tournament week.
I'll be here Wednesday.
I thought you were going to go to the SEC tournament and do our shows.
I'm not, but man, that was fun a few years ago just because Nashville's such a great town. If people didn't know that, you one of these years, you people need to do that because it's pretty cool.
Be awesome, dude.
All right.
Chip Howard Sports Talk. Checks in with it each and every Wednesday. At Wednesday, we check in with him. He joins me inside the Charles Schwab studio. Support, if you decide to go with Charles Schwab, which local, is Mark Sim, local, right here in Bryan College Station, local. Schwab offers a modern approach to wealth management. They have the financial planning to meet, well, your specific needs. Why'd you call them? But also, Schwab, Mark Sim, local, have the flexibility to adapt as your needs change with time. And they do in ways you haven't even thought of. But for Charles Schwab, that's their life, bro. They've been there, done that. They're ready for your changes. They're ready for your future, too. Learn more at schwab.com/College Station.
You can get the podcasts of Texans Live, The Louie Bellina Show, or Chip Howard at zone1150.com, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
The Louie Bellina Show from inside the Charles Schwab studio. The Louie Bellina Show. Wednesday, fired up. Oh, man. Bucky McMillan with the quote of the freaking year. Bucky McMillan with please put the poster on the Zone studio, the Charles Schwab studio wall. I'm not coaching basketball, afraid of my own shadow. Basketball's a war. We play to live. We don't play not to die. 90% of coaches want to win by one play. 90% of coaches, are playing not to lose. Bucky McMillan, you're my coach, ride or die. Let's hear what he had to say after the game. You'll hear that and more.
Man, a great win by our guys. We kind of had to have it. We knew that. I've all you've heard me in here challenging our guards that, man, they got to really step it up and play with more reckless abandon. I told our team I want to get off 30 to 43s tonight. I think we got off 29 in the game, or 28. And, that's what busted the game open when Ruben and Ryland got loose in the first half. We are what we are. We're a shooting team. We got to stay with it, even through the ups and downs of it. And even through the ups and downs of a season. And it was good to see us break out of that. And we're making shots. We can probably beat about anybody. Defense was good. I had a gap in that first half. I thought we really leaned on them at a time, and our guys got loose, and that was probably the separator in the game. Wish we had closed the game better, which we didn't close it great. They made some tough shots, had some tough calls, and then we just could have done things a little bit better there. But overall, I got to be really happy with our guys because I thought they won their matchups in a lot of those spots, and that was good to see. And we're sitting here, and I'll say this: we got I mentioned this to our team. I respect so much the tradition, the players that have come before here at A&M, and I've got to know some of the players off last year's team, and they were talking about. We talked to them about just it was a great year. They brought back a lot of guys, and how tough this league is. And I think last year, what a great team they went through this league play and went 11-7 in the league, and that was a group of guys that had been here a while. That is a hard thing to do in this league. It's a hard thing to do. And we didn't want any fall off with this group, even though they're all new guys. And so, we've been getting texts from these guys all year long supporting us. And I said the same deal. Let's, if we could get these last two and we can go to LSU and we come away with 11 SEC wins in this tough league, that would be a heck of an accomplishment. And that would kind of keep carrying on what some of these teams have done before we got here to kind of set the table for this group. Even though they're all new, set the table for this group. So we want to keep it going and get to that LSU game and play really well and close the season off right.
But did you see any, before the game or earlier, any indications that would have told you that Ruben was going to break out of it the way he did today?
I had a guy in town, a buddy of mine who coaches a lot of international basketball. He coached the Redeem team. He was an assistant coach on that team. He was in town. He knows Ruben. Was talking to him. And it's funny. He's actually staying at my house here the past couple of days. And he told me Ruben's about to go off in this game. He told me that. He called it, and he said, I'm just telling you, I had a little talk with him, and I was telling you, I feel that he's about to go off. I said, all right, Tony, we'll see. And I actually told him if he goes off, you can do the media. So I might as well bring him in here and let him do the media. But other than that, I don't know what night it's going to be for a shooter to go off. He came out there, he passed up on some threes, and I pulled him aside. I said, if you don't get out there and get 4 or 5 threes off in this half, you're not going back in the game again, the rest of the game. And I thought that freed him up a little bit to not worry about making or missing it, but I got to get some threes off. And that was a separator in the game.
What do you think defensively on that 27-2 run was really working for you guys?
Just stay with what we do. Like what we do in totality, it generates offense and gets the game going, trying to lean on those guys as much as we can. We used a deep bench, and I just thought there was a part there where we had some of our guys in there that were pretty fresh, and they had some foul trouble there. They couldn't sub as much. And they had some looks, but they just came up off in those spots, and that led to transition opportunities for us.
What was it about tonight that this was the night to finally switch up the starting lineup, and how'd you kind of come to that 5?
Because that 5 had beat the other 5 in practice the other day, and this time of year, like, it is what it is. We got to play well, but like we got to keep getting better. And so, we didn't have a great February. We've had a great season, in my opinion. But, we're going to play the players that are playing the best. And if one group's beating the other team's group, like nobody's job's safe here, right? We know that. If we win 25% of my games, I love talking to y'all. I probably won't be talking to y'all very long, right? So that's for everybody. We got enough talent out there that we can figure it out. And the next thing is I wanted some of those guards a little mad at me, honestly. I wanted them mad at me to play with a little more fire. Like they got something they got to prove. And they did it. So if I can make them mad at me more often, I'm going to keep doing it, however that is.
What did you like about how Ryland played, especially in the second half?
He played aggressive. He played like he had something to prove. He played not to just be out there and stay on the floor, but be an impact in the game. Ryland has been a role player at a lot of the places he's been, Alabama, Kansas. But, we brought him here to be a real player. And he's done that a lot of times in the season. But he's got to understand that, like, he's a key guard for us. He's got to be a real player at all times. And, yeah, if he misses some shots and he gets off 12 shots, sometimes he's going to miss them. But I'd rather live with him getting off 12 shots and getting off 3. We got to do a better job of getting him open. But you could see the aggressiveness in his eye, the way he ran the floor, the way he got to the basket, and the way he was looking for a shot.
To that point, Ryland did talk about the aggression and understanding what this game meant. How do you as a coach kind of balance saying, hey, like, we understand this position we're in, but staying within yourself?
Well, I'd rather go down swinging, and that's why I told our guys, man, try to squeeze off 43s if we can. We didn't, but they had that mindset. And that way they're not focused on winning or losing. They're just focused on playing aggressive in the game. We got to the line 39 times in the game, which is elite. So, play aggressive, live with whatever happens after that. We actually started the game trapping a little bit more than normal just so we could come out aggressive and really send the message. Now, they got up on us, but, I still felt we were aggressive, which was good to see.
You're talking about having the 30, 40 three-point shooters, or three-point shots. Do you think that is what contributed into finding that second, third, fourth scorer through stretch that y'all kind of been missing in the last few games?
Yeah, I mean, our guards just, let's call it what it is. Like, our guards really played well tonight, and I thought they got the best of some of their matchups in the game when they played well. Some of these games recently, we haven't. You know, you can't look up on the stat sheet this time of year and the other team's guards go for 50-some points and, we go for 21. You're not going to win this time of year doing that. So, it was a collective effort. Ollie played well in the game. He had 8 points, but he's plus 31 when we're on the floor. Right? He played 21 minutes and it was plus 31. He does a lot of things out there. Him and Ruben are kind of a good combination. Ollie's a defender and athlete. Ruben's a shooter and thinks the game really well. But, even though he doesn't show up with, all those threes, Ollie had a great game as well.
Do you feel like that win is one to get you off the bubble?
Look, I'll just say it like this. I don't like to make anyone upset or the NCAA tournament committee upset. I'm not trying to lobby. I'm not going to lobby for our team. Look, at the end of the day, you should want our team in the tournament because we're good enough. We won 20-plus games, and we have a winning record in the league, but we need to go get this next one regardless. I want to make a run in the SEC tournament. But I'm not going to lobby. I'm not going to cry about getting in or anything like that. Like, that's not what it's about here. You should want Texas A&M if they're in there in the tournament. We've done stuff on the road. Even the games we've lost against the top teams in the league have been right there a lot of times. We're an exciting team. We're a tough matchup for other teams. We're in the number one league in the country with a bunch of guys that came together there last second. We lost a couple games early and kind of really rolled in spite of adversity. So, we've took everything that's come our way. And if you kind of look at the totality of the season, we want to be in that deal for sure, but, we want people that want us in there. That's how I feel about it.
Jakari didn't play tonight. Just want to ask you if there was a reason for that.
Just wasn't what we went with. You got to be ready to play next game. We'll see how it goes. No disciplinary reason, nothing like that. He just sometimes you feel your gut's telling you one way on a game, sometimes another. There's a game this year that Card played 1 minute in. There's a game that Pop didn't even dress in. There's a game Josh hadn't played much, and he played a lot tonight. So it's just kind of we got to rally around that.
That wraps up our listen in. A&M basketball head coach Bucky McMillan after the dub over Kentucky. When we return, we wrap up our first hour together. This is the Louie Bellina Show, presented by CC Electric on the Zone.
Every Wednesday at noon, Tony Catalina of the Austin American-Statesman joins the Louie Bellina Show to talk everything maroon and white. Listen in on the Zone.
It is the Louie Bellina Show on a Wednesday. It is the Louie Bellina Show presented by CC Electric. I'm joined now inside the Charles Schwab studio. Kenneth Grocholski. Name probably really, really familiar to you because, a couple of times a year ago, Grocholski Sausage Company. They're big fans of, music like I am. They're big fans of the Louie Bellina Show. And currently, for a couple of weeks now, and every day this week, we've been registering people to win tickets to go see Creed at the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. Thanks to who? Grocholski Sausage Company. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. How about you?
I am doing outstanding. I wanted to visit with you because I'm one of those big fans of local businesses. I'm big fans of food. And, Grocholski Sausage Company since 1952. And, share with people. What do you do at your now 2 locations of Grocholski Sausage Company?
Our basis is still sausage. We start off everything based on trying to, make our product as best as we can. We make several different varieties, branched out into summer sausages, some bacon, several different kinds of pan sausages, even now doing a little barbecue. And, the main thing we want to try to make it as, make it by homemade as we can, as best we can, and try to perfect it as best we can.
Your recipes, right?
Oh, yeah, of course.
Homemade. See, that's the thing. You say, of course. That's not how it always goes, This is your recipes. And again, since 1952, recipes from back in the day, recipes you perfected. This is putting generations, man. This is putting decades into it.
Yeah, you think about it, it's really real interesting that it goes back that far. And, even further back because our grandfather had to learn it from someone. And those folks are the ones that immigrated here from Poland area, back in the late 1800s.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's OG. That is back in the day from
Back in the
Poland,
day.
and now here available for anybody. You expanded recently. Your original location, South Main Street in Fremont, and I guess you wanted to stick with the tradition because when you went to Calvert, you found another South Main Street.
Yeah, luck counts on that. We're on South Main Street in Calvert as well. There in the block by the stoplight there in town.
And how's it worked out? 2 locations.
It's worked out great. We've learned a lot from it. I've learned a lot from it from a management standpoint, and just the managing resources and how much more that it takes to have to make a load for a week, that type thing, and that's been interesting. But that's part of putting more product out there and more product being purchased.
What all sausage? What all do you do at Groholski Sausage Company? Because I know you do sausage, and I've seen you do bacon. But then again, I look up, I see pork steak. I hear rumors of barbecue and brisket. You guys do a lot.
We've tried several different things, and everything is a week by week experiment. But we've been very happy. Mondays we've started barbecuing a few hamburgers, and that's in its infancy. So we'll see how that does. We utilize Thursdays as our quote barbecue day.
And a different barbecue each Thursday, because you do barbecue chicken, you do a pork steak, doing a brisket tomorrow.
Yes, we have limitations in terms of pit size and everything else. So we'll alternate each week between barbecue brisket, barbecue pork steak, and then chicken by the half.
And if people ever want to treat themselves, again, you do sausage, bacon, you'll do some processing for people. I mean, kind of like everything over there.
Absolutely. We do a lot of old school butcher type stuff. With the ability to package and freeze, we are able to keep a lot of different things too, and that's been very nice.
How can people go find more information, keep track of what you're doing? Just go find a phone number for you.
The best thing to do is just find us on Facebook. We do have our own Facebook page, Groholski Sausage, fairly easy to find. And our numbers are on there. Of course, if anybody wants to reach out to me directly, my personal number is 979-255-8823. And, we're open 7 days a week at our Calvert location, and we're open 6 days a week at Bremond.
There you go. And Facebook is Groholski Sausage. Keeping it simple. I think everybody can remember that. Facebook. And on Facebook, you get to see the photos of, okay, this is what Monday, this is the Thursday, if you want to buy something to eat. And again, if you want, looking to get some processing yourself, if you want, again, looking for sausage, you're looking for, the bacon, just Groholski Sausage. Also, website, groholskisausage.com. Here's the tricky part. Could you spell Groholski for people?
Groholski.
Groholski Sausage. That's the social. That's the website, groholskisausage.com. Facebook is Groholski Sausage. What do you feel like people need to know about you, the family? Because it's a